What is up, guys? This is Bradley Abbott with Butter, Spice, and Why Don't You Have a Slice? Today, I'm going to be talking about calcium and the benefits of calcium, and we're going to be going over quite a bit of research today, guys, in this podcast. Today's title is Calcium Kicks Butt. What do you think of it? I think calcium kicks ass, man. So I think that's a pretty damn good title. So today, guys, I'm going to start off by explaining what calcium is, and then I'm going to explain where calcium is needed in the body. After that, I'm going to read you some segments from a couple of books and journal articles and really dig deep into the benefits of calcium and explain calcium's cofactors and how they work together in certain areas of the human body. Okay, guys, so what is calcium? Calcium, abbreviated capital C and lowercase a in the elemental table, is an essential trace mineral. Now, guys, that means the meaning of essential means that the body cannot make it. Calcium is commonly known to be essential for growth in the skeletal system, bone growth in the skeletal system, and it also works with magnesium in the contracting and relaxation function of the muscles. Now, this is important, guys. The heart is a muscle. Therefore, calcium and magnesium together help the contraction and relaxation of the heart muscle, which means that it helps regulate your blood pressure. Again, I know a lot of you guys out there want to know the clarification for calcium and blood pressure. It does nothing to do with the amount of salt you consume, as I mentioned in an earlier podcast. Podcast 2, I think. Podcast 3. Now, so as you know, the heart is responsible for pumping oxygenated blood around the body as well as other nutrients that carry into your bloodstream. This is an important fact to note. Calcium also helps prevent muscle cramps. However, like all other minerals in your body, calcium works together synergistically with magnesium to help with muscle cramps. The other nutrients calcium works with and needs to function optimally are manganese, boron, strontium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, chloride, vitamin D3, glucosamine sulfate, chondroitin sulfate, collagen, copper, iodine, iron, and vitamin C. That's a lot to take in, I know. So if you guys want to learn more and you're not taking notes, you need to whip out your pen and paper right now and take these notes. Now, I'm going to read a segment from Phyllis A. Balcher's 2010 book, Prescription for Nutritional Healing, a practical A to Z reference to drug-free remedies using vitamins, minerals, herbs, and food supplements. In this book, it states that calcium is essential in blood clotting and helps prevent cancer. It may lower blood pressure and prevent bone loss associated with osteoporosis as well. Calcium provides energy and participates in the protein structuring of ribonucleic acid, which is RNA, and deoxyribonucleic acid, which is DNA. You've all heard about DNA, right? It is also involved in the activation of several enzymes, including lipase, which breaks down fats for utilization by the body. Thus, this just reiterates that fact that the trace mineral calcium is so vital for the structure and function of the human body. Now, can you have too much calcium? Nah. It's extremely difficult, if I'm honest with you, and here's why. Because of the soils being depleted of minerals. Now, I know what you're thinking. What on earth does soil have to do with it? right? What does it have to do with that? Well, but to be honest, it's because there's a point to this. There's a point to this. Because of minerally depleted soils, because farmers are being told to use herbicides, pesticides, and other chemicals like glyphosate, which is mainly used in the US widely. I think it's used in other parts. I think Europe may have banned glyphosate. Glyphosate kills off good bacteria in the soil and the minerals. The cow that then eats the minerally deficient grass, because it's in the soil, produces it doesn't produce. The cow that eats that grass produces minerally deficient milk. It's all a cycle, guys. If the soil's depleted, the plants are depleted that the cow eats. Therefore, the cow that eats the plant, or the grass in this case, is minerally depleted. Am I making sense? So, it's a cycle when it comes to this, guys. Everything is connected. Plants cannot make minerals. They are genetically incapable of making minerals. Plants are supposed to soak up the minerals from the soil and use the energy from the sun in a process called photosynthesis to produce chemical energy that is then stored in carbohydrate molecules. The point being, no minerals, in this case calcium, then no minerals is for you to consume. If the plant is growing in the deficient soil, then the plant is deficient. Therefore, the animal that eats the plant is deficient. Whether it's cows, chickens, flipping pigs, or us, or monkeys, for goodness sake. It doesn't matter. It's a cycle. Now, I'm going to read another segment from a Dr. Joel D. Wallach's 2014 book, Epigenetics. I coined this. I didn't coin it, but I mentioned this in the previous podcast. The Death of the Theory of Genetic Disease Transmission. Now, Dr. Joel Wallach, to produce this book, worked with Dr. Ma Lan and Dr. Gerard N. Schrauzer, who was considered the father of selenium, which we'll go into in the next podcast, to produce this book. And the foreword was done by a doctor. The foreword of the book was done by Dr. Jeffrey Bland, who did create a fantastic book. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes below, and I'll get that title for you guys so you can look it up. It's a fantastic book done by Dr. Jeffrey Bland. I recommend that you give it a read. It's all about functional medicine and how it can help your health. There's questionnaires in that book that will help you figure out where you are and where you want to get to. It's a fantastic book. Who also, this guy, again, like I said, he practices functional medicine, nutrition, as part of the program with his patients. He does functional medicine with his many patients. Anyway, in Dr. Joel Wallach's book, Epigenetics, it states that historically, high calcium intakes were believed by medical doctors to cause kidney stones. However, it has been reported in the 20th century by Dr. Wallach and his medical research team that a high intake of dietary calcium in fact reduces the risk of nutritional secondary hyperparathyroidism, hypercalcemia, which is way too much calcium in the body because it gets distributed elsewhere, and kidney stones. Following on from this segment, I'd like to add that because of the importance of calcium and cofactors to our physiology, it is important to make sure that you get enough rich sources of calcium in your diet. To this, it is well worth mentioning that there are no less than 147 different deficiency diseases directly related to a calcium deficiency. Let me say that again. There are no less than 147 different deficiency diseases directly caused by a calcium deficiency. some of which are osteoporosis, which kyphosis, scoliosis, and lordosis, which is the curvatures of the spine. Like kyphosis is the upper spine curvature. Scoliosis is the S-shaped in your spine, which is the most painful. And lordosis is the lower curvature of the lower spine. Anyway, kyphosis, scoliosis, lordosis, and spontaneous fractures stem from osteoporosis. Other diseases are receding gums, osteomalacia, arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, kidney stones, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, insomnia, which is sleeping problems, bone spurs, where you get tendon and ligament attachments unnecessarily, calcium deposits, like they cause restless leg syndrome. There's cramps and twitches, and all you athletes or sports people out there, or who just go to the gym regularly, will know about cramps and twitches. When you get it in your foot, when you wake up on the morning, you try to stretch and you get it in your foot or your calf, it hurts like a bitch. It stings. It's horrible. It's so uncomfortable. Honestly, it's not nice when you get these cramps and twitches. Another one is PMS, both emotional and physical symptoms. Neuropathy, which is Bell's palsy and sciatica, things that are linked to your neurons, to your neurological systems. And panic attacks, where you can become super hyper irritable. And I'd just like to say, guys, that I know what the women out there might be saying. I mean, you're just a man. You have no idea. Now, to that end, that is true. I am a man. I don't know what it's like to have PMS. But at the same time, to that, I'm not saying that it is the sole cause of PMS. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that it is one of the factors that contribute to it. I'm not saying it is the sole cause. I'm just saying it is one of the factors that contribute to it. And it can make it worse if you are calcium deficient. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to move this topic forward a little bit because I know some of you guys and gals out there might want me to talk about the calcium and phosphorus ratios and how they affect your health. Well, some of you will. So, I'm going to get into it. And I think it's important for the people in your area as well, so you can help them and pass this knowledge on. Anyway, ratios. The general rule of thumb is that you want an ideal calcium phosphorus ratio of 2 to 1. That's 2 calcium to 1 phosphorus. That's the ratio that you ideally want. Now, I'm going to mention some foods here so you guys at home can get a better idea of the ratios of different foods, so that you can. It's just to help you make better choices when you're out shopping in the supermarkets. So I'm going to get straight into it, guys. This is beef. Has a calcium phosphorus ratio of 1 calcium, 17 phosphorus. Poultry, in general, has a ratio of 1 calcium, 17 phosphorus. Both apples and grapes have a 1-to-1 ratio. Wheat has a ratio of 1 calcium to 8 phosphorus. Rice and buckwheat are the same as wheat in terms of their ratios, not in terms of structure and how it affects your body, but in terms of ratios. Yogurt has a ratio of 1 calcium to 1 phosphorus. Mackerel, the oily fish, has a 1 calcium to 34 phosphorus ratio. That's huge. Also, cow's milk has a ratio of 1.3 calcium to 1 phosphorus. Just a 0.3 difference.